What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel and the video review of the HOBBYMATE D6 Dual Pro. It is the portable AC/DC battery charger with dual channels. It charges two different voltage types of batteries at the same time, and it also has a built-in wireless smartphone charger as well. So let's take a closer look at this bad boy here. A very minimalistic look and a very clean interface and a very small form factor for such a powerful little battery charger. Now in the AC mode, it has 200 watts of power, 100 watts per channel. And in the DC mode, it has 650 watts of power, 325 watts per channel, and 15 amps of charge current per channel. So it is a very, very powerful little battery charger for its size. Now I've been charging my batteries with a IMAX B6 5 amp battery charger, and it's just a one channel charger, and I've been using a parallel board to charge up roughly about three 1500 milliamp 4S batteries at the same time. Now it roughly takes about 1 hour or so to charge up those three batteries. Now this one, on the other hand, is capable of charging up to about 6 of those batteries, the 1500 milliamp 4S batteries, on one of its channels and another 6 on the other channel. So a total of 12 of those 4S 1500 milliamp batteries all at the same time, and it roughly takes about 1 hour or a little more to charge up all of those batteries. So it's just an awesome, powerful little battery charger for its size. So here is the channel switch button, and here is the speed shuttle key is what they're calling it. It is to down press on the task and scroll through the settings. Now, so you just scroll left and right, but on an interface you are scrolling up and down, and you just press down to enter into the task. In the front we have the balance port for channel 1 and the battery port for channel 1, and it is the XT60 connector, and we have the battery port for channel 2 and the balance port for channel 2. Now if you are charging something besides a battery that has the XT60 connector, then you will need a conversion cable, XT60 to whatever you're going to be using, or something that has like a parallel board to charge up some of your other batteries. Now on the bottom we have some cutouts for ventilation here, and on this side we have a micro USB port, and this one here is to update firmware, and this one is a USB port, and it is a 5 volt 2.1 amp USB port, and on the top we have the wireless phone charger, and in the back we have a fan here to cool down the product, and here is the AC in port. It is a 100 to 240 volt AC input, and here's a DC input in the XT60 connector. It is a 6.5 to 30 volt DC input. The battery charger came in this box here, not much of a box, and it also came with the AC power cable to plug in to the AC port in the back, and it also came with this little instruction pamphlet. Not much of an instruction pamphlet, it just shows you some of the specifications of the charger and a little diagram of the buttons and the functions and a quick instructions to get you going. Not much of an instruction manual, but you are able to go to HOBBYMATE.com website and download the PDF instruction manual. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that PDF instruction manual. All right, guys, here we are at the online instruction manual for the Dual Pro product, and it is a very nice instruction manual. You can go ahead and download it and refer back to it because it does have some good information here. Here's the contents, and here is the spec sheet: input voltage, charge current, charge power, discharge power, 15 watt times 2, the balance port is 10 watts, and external discharge power, 325 watt times 2. And here's a list of some of the batteries that is capable of charging. All of the lithium batteries, 1 to 6S. All of the nickel batteries, 1 to 16S. Smart battery, 1 to 6S. lead acid battery 2 to 24 volts, and envelope battery 1 to 16S, and the wireless charging maximum output is 5 watts, and the balance current is 1600 milliamp times 2, and the discharge current is up to 3 amp times 2. External discharge current is up to 15 amp times 2, and the USB output port is 5 volt 2.1 amp. Storage temperature, operating temperature, screen size 2.8 inch, 320 by 240, and up to 260,000 colors. Pretty good, nice display this thing has. And here are the dimensions, here is the weight, and here's all of the protection functions. Temperature, it has time, capacity protection, input reverse protection, output protection, short circuit protection, output over current protection, output voltage over voltage protection, and overcharge protection. So you are covered with all these type of protections. And here is a overview of the product here, and some warnings and safety notes. And here's a recommended connection for all of the batteries. You got all of the batteries right up on the top, and the rated voltage, the charger voltage, storage voltage, discharge voltage, and so on and so forth. So you can always come back and refer to this and set your stuff up, and how to confirm and all that. We'll go over the actual charging procedure. Here's the charger settings. We'll go over that in a minute. And the task parameters, system parameters, task setting. We'll go over that in a little bit, and so on and so forth, and operation and setup. Goes on to explain everything you need to know. So very nice instruction manual. Here's a diagram or the display, what it looks like on the fast charging. Note the color, it is all color coordinated, so very, very nice. And here's a fast charging completion view of what it looks like. As you can see, it is blue now. And here is a fuchsia color discharging. And this one is external discharging, fuchsia color as well. So very nicely color coordinated. So you know what it is doing just with a glance. And here is a storage charging display look, and all of the information on the side of what all of the values are. And here's the balancing display in olive green. So very, very nice. And here is the split screen display, so you can check out both of the channels at the same time and what all of the values mean on the side. Troubleshooting and some safety tips towards the bottom, and that is just about it for the online instruction manual. So let's go ahead and charge up some batteries. All right, we are about to power up the unit, but before we do, I just want to mention I still have my screen protector film on here. I was going to peel it off, but once you power it on, you are not able to see any of the smudges anyway, so I'm just going to leave mine on for protection. But if you do have your film come off after a duration of period, or it gets a little bit scratched up and you want to peel it off, you can always put a cell phone screen protector, cut it out to size, place it on top of here to further protect the screen of the charger. So let's go ahead and power this up, plugging it in, and it'll go into the initialization phase, and that is done. It has been initialized, and it brings us to the split screen mode where channel 1 is on the left and channel 2 is on the right. By hitting this channel button, you can scroll through channel 1 by itself and do the parameters. Channel 2 is next, and hit it again. It'll bring you back to that split screen mode. And for the very first time when you turn it on and before use, you want to go into the charger settings and tweak some of the parameters, because by default some of the parameters come maxed out and you want to lower some of that value down. So to do that, you want to long press on this speed shuttle key, and it'll take you into the charger settings, but it is very difficult to see here. So I'm going to turn it a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good right there. So we're going to look at the charger slightly crooked, guys. Sorry about that, but you can see it a little bit better. All right, so the first one is the task parameter. So short press on it to enter, and it'll take you into the safety timer, maximum capacity, end current, and trickle charge, and the back button. So the safety timer by default, it is set to 2,400 minutes, in which that'll be like 100 days. So you don't want your safety timer set on 100 days. You want to put it to some realistic value. For a charge, it usually takes about 1 hour or a little bit more than that. So I got mine set on 80 minutes, so that is good. But in order to change it, just short press it, and you can scroll up and you can scroll down. And you can choose whatever minutes that you want. 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes, and that is to your liking. So the next one is maximum capacity. Now by default, this one also came maxed out at 999 milliamps or something like that. I brought it back down to some realistic value. I won't be going over 20,000 milliamps, so set mine on 20,000 milliamps. But in order to change that value, again, short press it, go up and down until you find your parameter value that you are comfortable with. And the next one is the end current. It is set by default on 10%, and the thumbs up indicates that is the default value, and 10% is just fine. And trickle charge was turned on by default. I'm going to leave that on. And the back button, short press it, and it takes you back to the charger settings. Next parameter is the system parameters, and hit that. You are able to change the language, in which there's 3 languages to choose from. I'm going to leave mine on English. And there's the maximum input power, and by default set to 700 watts. I'm going to just leave it at that. And the minimum input voltage, I had to change mine to 15 volts. Now, usually what I'm going to do is, if I take it out to the field and charge up my smaller batteries using another LiPo battery for the power source, I'm probably going to use a 4-cell battery, and I would like to have my alarm sound off at about 15 volts, so I don't deplete the power source too low. So that's what you do, and by hitting it, you can set it to whatever you want as well. So I got mine set on 15 volts. The next one is the backlight. It is set on high. Short press it, you are able to scroll to middle. That's how the middle looks like. And low, and that is a little dark, so kind of hard to see. I'm going to leave mine on high. And the next one is wireless charge. I have mine set to off because unfortunately I don't have a phone that has wireless charging capabilities. So up until then, I'm going to leave mine off and turn it on once I get my hands on one of those wireless charging capable phones and charge my phone right on top of here. But until then, I'm going to use my USB charge port to charge my phone or any other device. So next one is volume. It is set on high. Let's see, let's go to the middle. That's how middle sounds like. And low. All right, or off. You can turn it to off, but I'm just going to leave mine on high. There you go. Sounds about right. Okay, the next one is completion tone. It is set by default on repeat, but you can choose a single beep to let you know that the battery has finished charging. But if you don't hear that single beep, you're just going to leave it on. So I got mine set on repeat as the default. It is not a constant beeping. It beeps about 4 times and it rests for a while and it beeps 4 times. But it is a constant 4 beeps once in a while to let you know that the batteries are fully charged. The next one is device name. You can go ahead and put your own device name. You can change whatever, but yeah. So long press it after you have changed it will set the name. And the next one is back. So let's go back. Okay, so next setting is the channel 1 calibration. That will automatically calibrate when you plug in your battery and the balance lead. So you don't need to do that. And channel 2 calibration. And system self-checking. Now this is what the initialization just have done. So we don't need to do that again. And the factory settings. Okay, you want to restore the factory default settings, yes or no. I've already tweaked my settings, so I want to say no. And by hitting this channel button, you go back as well. Okay, system info, and it tells you a bunch of stuff, and the back button. So let's go on back, and it takes you back to that split screen mode. All right, so let's go ahead and charge up a couple of batteries here. But first, let me just mention that once you plug up this unit into power, the fan is constantly on. So it never stops. It is on all the time. All right, so to cool down the unit, and I do feel that the unit is slightly warm. So we are starting off in the split screen mode, and I have two batteries here, one of which is a 1500 milliamp 4S battery, and the other one is a 1000 milliamp 3S battery. So this is a dual channel charger, so you are able to charge or discharge two different types of voltage batteries at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and hit this channel button, go into the channel 1 standby screen, and at which time you will hit this scroll button and go all the way up to the charge. But I do believe this battery is completely fully charged. So what we are going to do is start off discharging this battery. So I'm gonna short press and go into the discharge mode. You can either charge, discharge external, storage, or balance the battery. So I'm going to hit discharge, and the battery type is LiPo. Let me go ahead and focus in on the screen a little bit better. All right, so next one is the cell voltage. The discharge cell voltage by default is set to 3.3, in which it is on right now. So if you click on it, you are able to change the values, but the thumbs up indicates that you are on the default value. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Cell count is set on 3S. What I'm going to do is put it to 4S, and the current setting is set to 1 amp. I believe you can go up to 3 amps. And let's go ahead and start the task. Plug in the battery and plug in the balance lead, and you want to plug it in all the way to the right on that balance port, because the negative is all the way to the right, and you want to make sure those two notches on the balance lead is facing up as well. So go ahead and plug that in and start the task. And it is indicated by the fuchsia screen, and it is saying it is discharging. So it is charging at the rate of 0.3 amps, and it is at 16.7 volts. Time elapsed, and the milliamp discharged is 1 milliamp, indicated by a negative. All right, now I have this zip tie holding the balance connector to the main battery connector, because I want to keep the balance lead from flapping around and hitting the props. But it is a little challenge. Don't pull it all the way. Leave it kind of loose, so when you are balance charging, you are still able to move it around. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the discharging process. So about 47 seconds has elapsed. So what I'm going to do is charge up the battery now. Short press it, go all the way up, change the discharge to charge. LiPo 4.2, 4S, and also the cell voltage, the target voltage, you can change it. You can even go high voltage if you want. You can set it to your liking, but the thumbs up indicates the default value, so I'm going to hit it at that. 4S. The current setting is set to 1.5 amps, and that is perfect because this battery is 1500 milliamps. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that start task, and now the screen is indicated in yellow, and it is saying it is charging. So let me go ahead and see if I can get a better focus on that screen. There you go. So it is indicating the resistance as well. You can flip it over to the resistance, but it is not showing any other values. And you can flick it over to the individual cells as well with the scroll button. and it is charging at the moment. 30 somewhat seconds into the charge, 99% is showing 16.8 volts total. So let's go ahead and wait until it completes the charge. Look at that, it is into 1 minute 20 something seconds, so it takes longer to charge than to discharge. All right, so there you go, indicated by a single beep, and the screen has turned green, and it is showing that fast charge is done. Now, if you leave it at this stage, it will further charge the battery, and it will further balance all of the cells. So it is recommended that you just leave it on this green stage. Now soon it'll turn blue, and it will indicate by more audible alarms. There you go. As you heard, there was 2 beeps and followed by another 2 beeps, and now some time elapses and it will repeat that 2 beeps and another 2 beeps, indicating that it's fully charged. All right, but if you leave it at this stage as well for a little bit longer, it will further balance each of the cells furthermore. There you go, another audible alarm. So it repeats itself constantly, and that's the repeat process. It doesn't continuously beep. It does that 2 beeps and then followed by 2 beeps, and some time passes by and it goes on to repeat that 2 beeps and 2 beeps, indicating the battery is fully charged. So at this time, you can go ahead and hit that scroll wheel. It'll bring you back to the black standby mode, and at which time you are able to unplug the battery. Unplug the balance connector first, and then the XT60 connector, and this battery is fully charged. All right, so let's go ahead and plug in this battery. So let's just assume that this battery is still plugged in here on channel 1 and it is charging. So the beauty of dual channels, you are able to charge and discharge 2 different types of battery at the same time. So let's go ahead and hit this channel button, go into channel 2 now, and let's go ahead and do something a little different here. We've already charged and discharged. Let's go into the storage mode, and it is a LiPo, and the cell voltage is automatically set to 3.8 by default, as you can see the thumbs up, and it is not a 4S, it is a 3S. So let me go ahead and select 3S, and let me go down to about 0.5 amps, and let's go on to the start task. Plug in the battery, XT60 first, and then the balance connector next, with the notches up and all the way to the right. Right, and let's go ahead and start the task. As you can see now, the screen is indicated in purple and it is saying storage discharge. All right, so that is how you discharge the battery, and the target voltage is 3.8. So once it hits 3.8 on individual cells, it will stop the storage discharge, and it is going to send off an audible alarm. So let's go ahead and hit the scroll button to stop this process, and we are back to the standby mode. Let me go back into the task, and let's go all the way up and change to balance. So you want to use the balance mode when one of the cells are more depleted than some of the other cells. So you want to bring up all of the cells equally and balance each of the cells, and that is what this mode is for. So let's go into the LiPo. Cell voltage, target cell voltage is at 4.12 because it is sensing via the balance plug right now. So we're just going to leave it at that. Cell count is 3. Current setting 0.3 amps. I'm going to leave it at that, and let's go ahead and start the task. And as you can see, now the screen is indicated with an olive green color, and it says balancing. So once we hit the target voltage of 4.12 on all of the individual cells, it will stop its balance charging or balancing. There you go. It was already set to all 4.12. So now the balance is done. So now what you want to do is hit the scroll wheel, go back to the standby mode, and at which time you are able to, well, let's go ahead and put it into the charge. Since it is not fully charged, charge LiPo 4.2 3S 1.5 amps. Well, this one is 1000 milliamps, so I'm going to put it at 1.0 amps, and we're going to start the task. Now we are indicated with a yellow screen once again, and it is charging 12.4 volts total, and everything else is going up 1 amp. 2 milliamps so far, 3 milliamps so far. All right, so that is how you charge, discharge, balance all of the individual cells, and put the battery into storage. All right, guys, we are in the laptop once again, and I have the hobbycool.com website opened up on the D6 Duo Pro, and it is priced at $149. And here is the Amazon site where you can order this product as well. Same price, $149, but from Amazon you are able to get it prime delivered. So today is Tuesday, and I am able to get it by Thursday, so it'll take just 2 days to order this charger from Amazon. But if you order from the hobbycool.com website, they are offering a 20% discount, which is $30, by the way, by utilizing the coupon code RCEscape20OFF. So if you are interested in buying this and you have a little bit of time to spare, order from the hobbycool.com website. If not, order from the Amazon website and get it in 2 days. Now, you might say $149. Well, that's a little steep for such a small charger, but this charger is just an awesome charger, guys. It is one of the best, if not the best, in its class. So let's take a look at some of the other chargers real quick. I pulled up the SkyRC IMAX B6 AC. Now it comes in at $51 prime as well, but if you look down here, 6 amp charging current max, and maximum charging power 50 watts. All right, so this is Mickey Mouse compared to the HOBBYMATE D6 Duo Pro. So let's take a look at another one. I pulled up Venom RC's Venom Pro Dual. This one is only 80 watts times 2. AC/DC, but only 7 amps and almost $100. So I pulled up its bigger brother, the Venom RC's Venom Pro Quad 400 watt. It's 100 watt times 4 and 7 amp times 4. So still, it's only going to be 14 times 2, which is 28, in which the HOBBYMATE Duo Pro got it beat because it's 15 amp times 2, which is 30 amps max. So at $219, guys. But it does come with all kinds of connection cables, and it is a lot bigger than the HOBBYMATE D6 Duo Pro. Now, the closest one that I found was this one here, the ISDT D2 200 watt 12 amp charger, which is very equivalent. And this one comes in at $138, no prime. And this one is just an AC charger. It is not a dual AC/DC charger. So once again, the HOBBYMATE D6 Duo Pro has that one beat at $149, guys. I don't think it's a bad price at all. It is a super duper powerful charger. All right, so quickly what I want to show you is how you're going to utilize this charger out on the field, utilizing a battery to power this thing up. So this is the 4-cell battery. I just finished charging it up, and I'm going to connect it to the DC input, which will power up the unit as well. And we have initialized, and we are in the standby mode. Channel 1, I'm going to go ahead and charge up a little battery, 3-cell battery with the XT30 connector. And you are going to open it up a little bit, and I have these conversion cables with the XT60 to the XT30. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into this here. Now I'm able to plug this in directly to the battery charger. So I'm going to leave it at charge, LiPo, cell voltage 4.2, 3S, at 1 amp, and this one is a 550, but I'll leave it at 1 amp. It is 1C charge capability here. So plugging this in and plugging in the balance lead. There you go, and start the task. And it is charging a battery with the XT30 connector. Put it in the middle of the screen, XT30 connector. Now, if you have a parallel board that has the XT30, 6 XT30s, then you are able to connect the parallel board to one of the channels and you can charge 6 of these. But this thing is so powerful, I don't know, you can probably bridge the parallel board and put another parallel board and maybe charge like 12 of these babies all at the same time on one channel. So that is how you charge another battery that does not have the XT60, and look at that, charge is done just like that. All right, so that is how you charge other batteries with a different type of connector. May it be a JST or a LASI connector. Some of the connectors might not have a balanced connector, and this battery charger will override it even though you don't have a balanced plug. So let me go ahead and stop it and unplug the balance connector, unplug the battery. Let me go ahead and charge this without connecting the balance lead to the battery charger. So I'm going to plug it in. Let's go ahead, and it is going to be the same parameters. So let's go ahead and start the task. Oops. There you go. It's asking me whether, here, let me focus in on that. It is asking me, warning, perform task without balancer, LiPo 3S, yes or no. I can scroll up to say yes and commence charging without connecting in the balance plug. All right, so that is how you charge batteries that don't have the balance plug, or maybe your balance plug is damaged in some way. You are still able to charge the battery. Okay, so here is going to be my solution to charging batteries with this D6 Dual Pro out in the field in the car. So I have an AC-DC converter here, so mimicking the cigarette lighter connector in the car, in the automobile. So what I've done was I made a little cable with the cigarette lighter plug to an XT60 connector, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is plug this baby in here. It'll give me 12 volts, and plugging in to the back of the charger, and that'll power the D6 Dual Pro as well, and you are now able to charge 4-cell batteries or whatever batteries that you choose to charge. So here are some of the best case scenarios for use of this battery charger. Use it at home as a primary charger with 200 watts of power and 15 amps per channel. You are able to charge all kinds of batteries at the same time. You can also use it in the field using your car battery as the primary power source. 650 watts, 15 amp times 2. You are able to charge even more batteries on the field utilizing your car battery. But be warned, if you are going to do that, you are going to have to keep your car engine on, because this thing will drain out your car battery as well. So I would think when you are moving from one location to another location to fly, while you are driving there, you are able to charge up all of the batteries that you have already used in your first location. So while you're driving, your car engine is on, powering up the device. And another way is to utilize a bigger LiPo battery to charge up smaller LiPo batteries out in the field. So just a fantastic use of this battery charger. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the pros and the cons of this HOBBYMATE D6 Dual Pro battery charger. Let's start with the pros first. It is small. It is a portable form factor. You can carry it with you anywhere, put it in your backpack and take it with you to the field. 2 channels, 15 amps per channel, so very powerful for such a small form factor. Highly configurable user interface and very user-friendly. And it has the USB as well as a wireless charging pad for your external devices like your phone. May I also once again say extremely powerful for such a small form factor. AC/DC with XT60 connector when out in the field to charge smaller LiPos with a bigger LiPo, or even with a car battery. And the design is just a minimalistic looking design, stepping away from the old clunky looking car stereo amplifier type design battery charger. Very, very nice indeed. The only cons that I can think of is the fact that it did not come with any of the accessories like the connector cables, like the conversion connector cables, like the XT60 to the Dean's connector, or XT60 to the XT30, and so on and so forth. But you can always get one of those parallel charging boards that comes with the XT60 and that comes with the balance cable as well to charge up your other types of battery. All right, so there you have it, guys. My review video of the HOBBYMATE D6 Dual Pro. Just an excellent charger in my opinion. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.